almost done. Are you okay with, just in case we get some questions, are you okay with that?
Sure, no problem.
अगर से कुछ भी आपको uncomfortable लगे, नहीं answer करना, no comments, बोल सकते हो, you can switch the topic.
No problem. I'll be able to see the comments on the chat here.
It's not here, it will be different. This is Zoom chat, but even I get questions sometimes from YouTube. So
Sure. You can bounce it. You can bounce it to me.
Okay, ठीक है. नहीं आंसर करना कोई बात नहीं. It happens. हम लोग, मैं भी सब क्वेश्चन आंसर नहीं करते. Difficult हो जाता है. Anyway, thank you so much, Swastik, for doing this. Let me introduce you to our audience today. Swastik Nandakumar is a business growth expert, high ticket closing expert, peak performance coach. He is converting a business idea into a basically profitable ongoing concern is I think, our hardest task. There's so many people who want to start startups and start their own business, and many entrepreneurs are self-made and require very little assistance, but it never hurts for an individual to get some professional administration that could escalate the process. Self-proclaimed organizations often mislead their clients by handing out a generic protocol that is anything but beneficial. But the necessity of today's young entrepreneur is receiving ins and outs of the business from someone who's not only a professional, but also experienced the rise and falls in business world. Swastik Nandakumar, a co-founder of Offbeat Entrepreneurs League, a community of action-taking entrepreneurs making a massive impact, is one such professional who is well-versed with the metaphorical tunnels of the business city. Thank you so much. And I know I've heard you're a mentor to many, and maybe you will clear some specifics which the audience, in case they have some questions. But I have a question for you. As this one said that you have had your rise and falls in the business. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you start? A little bit about your journey? What could you share?
Okay. Thank you so much, Rachna. In fact, that was a pretty, I think that introduction took me somewhere here. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. Now, the journey has been quite interesting. The journey has been quite long. And the journey, like anybody's journey, has had its ups and downs. So if I have to look at my journey so far, I come from a non-business background, which means my family has not been in business. My immediate family, for sure, definitely have not been in business. And even my adjacent family, I don't see anybody in business. Came from this background of wanting to study, do well, get a job, and go through that route, and realizing that I became an electronics and communication engineer only to realize that this is not my thing. I wouldn't really understand anything that was happening in college, and that led me to really thinking, okay, now if this is not my thing, what can I do? What else am I good at? And at that point, it was a few thoughts running in my mind, but one thing that I was good at was, I'm a musician. I'm a percussionist. I play instruments like the tabla, the drums, and any percussion instrument for that matter. And I started picking up instruments, and I got invited to a band. Then we had a album launch with a few popular people. All of that happened.
What kind of album?
Sorry?
What kind of album? You said you had an album launch?
Yes, it's a music album. So I have an album with the famous Bombay Jayashree.
Were you part of it, or were you producing it?
No, I'm a musician in that. I'm a musician in that. Yes.
What do you sing? What do you do?
I'm a drummer.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, good. I wish. Is there a drum around later on? Can you play for us? I'm just kidding.
Right. So that definitely was an interesting journey. And now the thing is, after that, a few things collapsed. But I got into this journey of entrepreneurship with the thought of making money, because for me, getting into a good job was also for the same criteria. But one thing that I've realized is, in the last few years, I've started about 7 businesses, and sadly, all of them hit a ceiling, and they also fell. They collapsed also. So the way businesses work is, you are growing and it hits a ceiling, and we think that that's the potential of growth. And one thing it's a piece of advice for everybody here is, at that ceiling where everything gets stagnated, if you get stuck there, you need to know that business is going to fall. If you don't get above and beyond that, it is going to fall for sure. So you need to
mindset, right? I mean, one would think that the stagnation is like for a bit, and they keep waiting, right? That maybe things will improve.
One is that. One is the stagnation. They keep waiting for a while. Second, that happens is once they hit that stagnation, they think that that is the way that the industry functions, which is not the case. One thing that everybody has to look at is look at you being stuck and look at few people who are doing well in the same space. You need to know that they're doing something different. If they're doing well and you are stuck, it means they're doing something that you are not doing. You know it, you don't know it. That's not the question here. You need to become aware of the fact that there is more possible for you. That's the first thing. The desire for creating something big starts with this thought of perhaps there is something more possible for me. And the thought of something more is possible for me happens by observing people. Start looking at other businesses in the same space and realize that you being stuck here is your thought and it's not the industry truth.
Okay. But many times I feel that when you're saying that look at other businesses, instead of looking and learning from it, people get jealous that they are doing better and then the growth stops, right?
That is true. That is true. See, now here's the thing. We are human beings, and jealousy, happiness, joy, sadness, anger, all of these are part of the human emotion cycle, right? And you need to know that any point in time you do feel jealous. It is okay for you to feel jealous, which means you want something that you don't have. You want something from there that you don't have, but becoming aware of the fact that okay, they have something that I don't have, instead of being and staying in that space and being jealous and then calling out saying these guys do the wrong things and that's why they have it, these guys are scamming people, that's why they have it, these guys are treating people wrong, doing the wrong thing, and that's why they have money. Actually start plotting the good things that these people have.
Okay.
If you look at your competitors, the people that you feel jealous about, and change the same structure to and start seeing what are the things that they have good, what are the nice things that they have in their business, what are the nice things, what are the nice parts of that person, that human being that they have. And if you start mapping these things, a lot of things will change.
Okay. Then somebody just said that don't forget to tell us about your accident. What accident are they? Unless you don't want to talk about it.
So I think that's one factor that I at this point I don't talk about so much. But the thing is, a lot of things changed in my life post that accident. And like I told you, I was a musician once, and then with my arm broken, I had to give up on my career as a musician. You can't be a drummer with a broken hand, right? So that's a part of the journey that changed a lot of things for me. I think that's going detailed into that in this conversation is going to be a long stretch, Fred.
Right. Of course. So you don't play anymore, is it?
Not at this. I do. In fact, after that, I did get back into music. I did travel as a musician, but at this point, I'm more inclined towards businesses, mentoring businesses, and growing businesses. In fact, right now I'm here in Pune with I have one of my businesses here in Pune, so that's why I'm down here in Pune for a few days.
Okay, that's interesting. So, but you don't live in Pune, I'm guessing that's.
I'm from Bangalore.
Oh, okay. I've been to Bangalore a couple of times. Actually, I was born and brought up in Lonavala, so very close to Pune.
Right. Oh wow. You are in Lonavala now?
No. I live in Jakarta for the last 25 years, and before that, I lived in Hong Kong. And
oh wow.
Yeah, so now we're moving to Dubai by August. So I've been an NRI for a quite long time, and then, like I say, I'm an accidental amateur YouTuber. I just started this, and then I saw the kids have so many questions, and generous people like you accept my invite, and then they guide the children. क्योंकि आजकल का जो भूत सवार है सबको is the startup भूत, right? हर इंसान को startup करना, पढ़ाई छोड़ के they think they're going to have like a revolutionary idea. What do you have to say something for these kind of kids?
So it is pretty awesome that the entrepreneurs in the country, they're starting at a younger age. That's absolutely beautiful to see. The only thing that's slightly disappointing is to see people comparing themselves with the others. It's a little challenging. See, the thing is, any age group, for example, I am pretty young at this point, and if I have to see, there's so many people in my age group who accomplished massive things. Now, at this point, earlier when I was in my 20s, when I was in 22, 23, I used to look at these people and I would feel jealous of these people. And I'm like, shit, why am I not getting there? Why don't I have the potential for that? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? And when you get into the zone, it becomes a loop. It's a downward spiral. What is happening with the startup trend, that downward spiral is also kicking in with a lot of people. And here's what you need to know. Everybody has their course. You need to run your course. Everybody has their history. Somebody who is successful at 23 has gone through that journey perhaps from 11. Now, it is okay that you did not start at 11. It's okay that you started at 22. And it's awesome that you started things at 22. And you need to know that you have to run your course instead of looking and comparing and feeling that I need to have that Mercedes, I need to have that. I need to have that Jaguar at this particular age. It's okay for you to run your course and do the things that you need to do before you get there. So please start things. Please, create bigger things, create better things. And if you are in the startup game, if you're just planning on getting in some money, getting some investors on board and getting out of the business, that's a bad strategy to be in. You need to be in a business that serves more people, that adds value to more people's lives. And one of the things that you need to count is how many people come back and thank you for what you do. That's a real measure of success. And money will flow for sure. Money will flow for sure. Yes.
So that's true. I don't get money, I don't get paid, but like you said, इतनी सारी अच्छी जब शुभकामनाएं होती हैं and people say about your work and they refer you to other people, so it's going to be like that's what you should look for. Just give me 1 second. Aryan, I have made you mod. Can you please ban whoever is, just drop them
Yes,
out.
ma'am.
And
Checking.
even Team Swastik, if you see, I've made you also a co-host. Please remove people who are disturbing the chat. Sorry about this, Swastik. ये हमारे हाथ धो के लोग पीछे पड़ते हैं, पता नहीं इनको नेगेटिविटी स्प्रेड करने में क्या मजा आता है, पर चलो छोड़ो. So tell me something now that you're saying कि ठीक है स्टार्टअप्स करने हैं, पता नहीं 11 में कौन करता है, but by the way you said that in your early 20s, I would have thought that you're in your early 20s, you're looking that young to me, so I'm not very sure. So tell us, what have you learned? Like, okay, we understood that you started and you had ups and downs. Could you like tell us few of your downs so that the children who are going to try a startup or their business, what should they expect?
So the thing is, in one of my first businesses, I was in the interior design and home solution space. And for me, on the first sales that I made, I clocked some big money, and that gave me a lot of confidence that shit, to get that money, you don't need this regular path of the job. So that was quite interesting for me, and I'm like, this happens, this works. But somewhere what also happened is that overconfidence kicked in for the same factor. Because I clocked that big money in the initial phase, that same overconfidence kicked in where I felt that that feeling of being invincible starts coming in, right? The feeling where you feel like nothing can stop me, nothing can bring me down, nobody can bring me down. I have this kind of money, everybody is taking this much time, and nothing else is happening. All of that starts coming in, and that part was where a lot of things started going wrong. That part is where a lot of things started going wrong. Unnecessarily spending a lot of money in things that I didn't want, things that I didn't have to spend on. That led to the downfall of my first venture. Now, with that, when I came to my second space, once I finished that journey of interiors, since then I've been in multiple spaces. I've been in the fashion jewelry space, I've been in the construction space, I've been in the event management space, I've been in the I also created a platform for younger generations, or education platform for younger kids. I've been in these spaces. So each business led me becoming a better version of my previous self. But every phase there has been mistakes, every phase there have been learnings that essentially collapsed my business. And one thing that I did realize after falling in 7 businesses is that, or one feeling that I got after falling in 7 businesses, somewhere I felt that, you know what, I'm not cut out to be an entrepreneur. A lot of people talk about experience. A lot of people say that you need to learn from your experiences. But my experience taught me one thing. My experience taught me that I'm not good enough to be an entrepreneur. Because think about it. Let's say you cook, meals for 7 days in a row, and all 7 days you serve it and people tell you that it's bad, or forget serving it. You taste it and you're like, this is horrible. On the 7th day, you are going to declare that you're a bad chef. Now, at that point, you don't think that maybe I need to go out and learn how to cook. You already declared that you're a bad chef. So that's where I got into a job. I got a job, and I wouldn't get a job as an engineer because I'm a failed engineer. I practically had to, spend 2-3 additional years to get my degree in a very discarded manner, if, for lack of better words. Then I wouldn't get a job as an engineer, but I got a job as a growth consultant because of the experience that I had with these 7 businesses. I got a job as a growth consultant, and suddenly I was not working in my business, I was looking at businesses from here, which means as a consultant, I got to see businesses from the outside perspective. And there I started seeing that, okay, these guys, this is the mistake that these people are making.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started seeing that, a lot of learning started kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on this crazy journey of spending money on learning to run my business,
Okay.
understanding business, learning the concepts of business. Not an MBA per se, but running learning business from people who are actually running a business. That has been a very interesting aim, and that potentially changed the course of how I started looking at things, and that's where a lot of things started shifting in my life. So the lesson here, because you asked me that question, is don't look at your experience and give up on your dreams, or give up or come to a conclusion that you are this person, you're not this person.
Mm.
You need to go out there and acquire the right skills and then put that into action, and then you need to get better at it, because the first time you did acquire the skill of driving, you did not become a really good driver. You had to look at the gear, you had to look at the clutch, you had to look at the steering wheel, you had to look at what is happening on the left, right. But perhaps now you get in that car and the next thing you know, you're in the location, you don't have to think about it. So but you did spend some time learning and more importantly practicing it. That's what you need to do.
Okay. I would like to read this before. Adil, I'm sorry that I will not give you a chance to speak because there are too many people spamming the chat. And as you can see, people are, that's their pastime nowadays to irritate people. But chalo, never mind. Swastik, I would like to know that he really wants to thank you for being the wonderful person that you are. You're the most wonderful person he has ever met. You're his mentor and guru. And thank you for, of course, he's thanking me for bringing you here. So I'm sorry, Adil, that I would like, actually, if I will unmute you, just say thank you, because I think that's very kind of. Unmute kar lo, aap please inko bol do.
Thank you so much, ma'am, to give me the opportunity to speak. And really, thank you, Swastik, for all the guidance what you have given to me. I'm really very obliged. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adil.
Thank you, ma'am.
Adil is a
Thank you.
phenomenal human being, and I've had the opportunity of being closely connected with Adil for last 2.5 years, from the time I started this journey of helping people and mentoring people. Adil has been through that journey, and it's been a beautiful path of walking with Adil. And so many people like Adil, but Adil is a person who has never missed a single session of mine. In fact, right before this call, we had another session. Adil has been attending every single call of mine for the last 2.5 years, and that's the kind of dedication and consistency an entrepreneur should have for learning and to do anything in life. You make a commitment saying, you know what, I'm going to do this. You have to do this. That with that kind of dedication and commitment, like Adil does, if that, Adil is a perfect example of great consistency. With that, you have to be successful in business. You have to be successful in life.
Yeah. So would you say that is one of the most important skills?
Absolutely.
How about resilience? Besides consistency, I think लोग बहुत जल्दी हार मान जाते हैं. जैसे आप कहते हो कि like 7 times you almost gave up and then you didn't give up.
Right. So the thing, that see, it all starts with a drive. It starts with the drive of what you want to create for one is for yourself, and perhaps at a point for the others also. But that drive in your life that you have, saying, you know what, I'm not going to settle for this. This is not the lifestyle that I want. I'm not going to take this as the outcome in my life. I'm not going to say that, you know what, this is the house I can live in. This is the car I can drive. This is how much I can earn. No, saying no to that. And how powerful is your drive towards that? How powerful is your drive to getting what you want? If you no longer can stay in a particular situation, you will automatically get to the next stage. But what happens is this: if this is our comfort zone, we know that this space is not a nice space to be in, but yet this space is, you've not made it very aspiring or inspiring for you. This space is just a few steps better than this space, and you keep saying, okay, this space is not all that bad. If you realize that this space is super aspirational and this space is nothing like this space, that's where you want to get out of the space as quickly as possible. That's where, the whole, if you ask me, resilience, it's, I wouldn't say it's a factor of, I don't know if it's my attitude, but for me, it's more of a factor of this being super aspirational in my life, this lifestyle that I wanted to have, the lifestyle where I get to travel, the lifestyle that I get to spend time where I want, when I want, with who I want. That's been such a strong aspiration since my childhood. And I wouldn't say yes to anything but that.
Okay. But Web, suppose you said that you didn't have all this, right? And that's why that gave you the drive. Am I understanding that correct?
Yes.
So tell me something. There are many kids who come to me where their parents are not well off or they don't have the capital. For business start करने के लिए capital, sorry, Hindi is okay or mostly
Yes.
English? हाँ,
हिंदी
so
चलेगा.
हाँ चलेगा. अच्छा, तो आपके हिसाब, क्योंकि कुछ हिंदी ऑडियंस भी होती है, फिर वो बोलते हैं सारा टाइम इंग्लिश में क्यों बात करते हो आप लोग. सो कहिए, आपको क्या लगता है जब किसी के पास कैपिटल नहीं होता, किसी के पास फॉल बैक, कोई भी बिजनेस चलाने के लिए पैसे तो चाहिए, राइट? इनिशियली तो आप बूटस्ट्रैप थोड़ा बहुत कर सकते हो, पर आपके हिसाब से क्या आपने कभी लोन लिया है? व्हाट डू यू रिकमेंड? आपका क्या है इस बात पे, क्या, व्हाट इज योर ओपिनियन?
See, the thing is, I've always believed in the power of relational capital more than hard-on cash capital.
What is relational capital? Could you explain?
Let's say if I'm connected with you right now and you are connected with 100 businesses, I'm going to come to you and strike a deal with you on putting me in touch with those 10 businesses who will open up to be my customers in the initial phase. From the first very business that I started, from the first client that I got, it's happened by me not investing a single rupee in my business. Which means in the first, even in the interior space, you need to have a team, you need to have staff for people to operate in that space. But the way I've operated is I've gone to a client, I've closed the sale. Once I have that money in my hand is where I go to the next person, connect the client together and make that possible. So I don't completely agree that you need capital to start any business. You have to be smart and you need to step up and connect with the right people. In the initial phase, you do need money for sure. But I also believe that the initial money that you want, you can get it from your customers itself. You can get it by making sales. You can get it by pre-launching your products or services. And by the way, pre-launching your product or services and actually making a sale will also be a great test of your business and your product. Is
Right.
your market responsive of your product? Is your market responsive of your business? That test is very critical, because I see so many people investing so much money into their product, into their office, into their staff, and they've done all this break-even math for the next 8 months, only to get into the business and realize nobody wants my product. That's such a huge waste of money.
Right. And since you are in this field, and tell me, where does one advertise nowadays? Like social media, everybody websites chhod ke, now they are on Insta, Facebook, and all of it. So what is your take? What is happening to the social media scene? And if someone is launching the business, should they or should they not venture into this domain?
First is you need to be where your customers are. You don't have to be on all social media platforms. So another myth that people have is they feel that they have to be in every platform because they see influencers being on every platform. People need to know that business owners and influencers are two different people. Influencers perhaps see the need to be in every platform because that's where their business comes from. Their business comes from promotions, right? You as a business owner, you need to be in a platform where your customers are. For example, if you're in the B2B space, you need to be on LinkedIn. If you're a B2C customer, let's say you bake cakes or you make candles, you need to be on Instagram because that's where your customers are going to be. Now, running an ad, if you ask me, is a factor of you being profitable in business, which means, let's say, you know that one customer coming in is going to give me profits of 100 rupees. Running an ad to acquire a customer, let's say you spend 30 rupees to acquire a customer and you make 70 rupees now as opposed to 100 rupees. That is okay because now you're selling to 10 people as opposed to one person. Okay. So advertising in the right platform where your customers are, once you know how much profitable you are, is the way to go.
Wow. But tell me something, when you are doing this kind of, obviously you're a mentor, is there like a specific business that you're like super good at? What, suppose you want to advertise yourself here and children, or let's not say children, young adults want to contact you. What kind of businesses do you mentor for?
I primarily mentor B2C businesses, B2C service-based businesses, because B2C service and product-based businesses both. I do mentor a few B2B businesses, but I don't actively advertise and get people on board for that. When people do come in, and when I see that I can actually help them, I do help them out. But B2C is my space because I believe one is there you have the scope of expanding your product line. One. The second is you have the scope of building a very good connection with your customers. As a result, them coming and buying from you over and over again, which will also increase your profitability. And the third one is you can build a long journey for your customers, which will lead you to profitability. So with these three factors, I specifically mentor B2C businesses. Anybody in the service space, anybody in the, again, product space, if they're hardcore manufacturers, I don't go to them. But anybody in the upper product space, service space, digital marketers, consultants, coaches, let's say bakers, all of these people, I very strongly mentor and help.
Okay. Arun, you said we have a few questions. I don't see them on Zoom. Is it on YouTube or because
No, some people were having their textured in Zoom, but I myself also have a question.
Okay, please, yes, go ahead.
So, sir, like recently the market has been quite down right after COVID, and even just overall the economy has been suffering very badly. So some products have kind of become obsolete. Like it is very tough for small companies to get in the market and stay in the market. What would you kind of suggest for them? Like it's
Product are you referring to? What products are you referring to, Arun?
So my company makes websites, softwares, etc., like web development, anything digital.
Right. So you're saying that that's become obsolete at this point? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I started it back in 10th, and I have a decent client base, but yet the products that I make, such as websites, then softwares and apps, people aren't really using such complex websites these days. You have all of these, like you have Shopify and all of these platforms that help people out to make their own stuff pretty easily. So like my products are becoming obsolete in a way. It's becoming very tough for me. Like I have a team of programmers who build the websites through Python, and that kind of stuff is expensive for some people, and for some people it's just obsolete.
That's true. So, see, I'm so glad that you brought this up. And this also brings me to this concept, or rather, revelation for everybody, that there is a phase of every product. There is a life cycle of every product. Not all products are relevant at all points in time. Think about it. This particular business, which is Zoom, that all of us are connected through, did not exist 20 years back.
Even 2 years back, not properly, right? It just came more.
No, it took off. It took off 2 years back for sure. It took off massively 2 years back. But think about it. Even Facebook did not exist 20 years back. Most of the businesses that we use on such consistent and regular basis right now, iPhones didn't exist 20 years back. WhatsApp did not exist 20 years back. All of these things did not exist back then, which means there are a few things that existed back then which no longer exist at this point, which means there are going to be things that exist 20 years from now. A few of these things that we think are going to be the things of the future are no longer going to exist in 20 years. What you need to understand is, as a company, as a business owner, you need to evolve with the trends of the world. You're right. Earlier, websites, it was only being developed by people who are skilled at developing websites. Now, anybody can create their own website. And as a result, the value of that dips. It's a simple game of supply and demand. When the supply is high and the demand is low, you become a commodity, which means you need to be in a space where the demand is high, or you need to work with clients where the demand is high. By the way, there are people who still, for example, my particular website, when I got the Sell It Like Swastik website design, again, I changed my brand from Sell It Like Swastik to Swastik Nandakumar. But when I did get that website design, I spent 2 lakhs on my website. There is a demand. There is a demand for sure. By the right people, there'll be a demand. But now that demand, if you're going after small businesses, they find spending on Divi, spending on Wix, spending on Shopify so much more cheaper than having to hire a website developer and designer. So you need to know where there is a demand, where is the demand going, and you as a business owner you have to go with the demand as opposed to being in a commoditized space. I hope that gave you some clarity. See, I'm not talking about a magical solution where people will start getting customers, but I'm talking about how a business owner should think to a market that is changing and evolving.
So I was reading that you're writing a book, or have you already written? What is that about?
So basically, I wrote an entire book. My first brand here in the recent times started as Sell It Like Swastik, right? And I would Sell It Like Swastik.
Okay.
Sell It Like Swastik is the brand that I started. And that brand did pick up some popularity, and I was going to write a book purely driven on sales. In fact, the entire book is on my Evernote at this point as we speak. But what happened was I decided to change my positioning because I was getting coined as a salesperson, and I wanted to, there was so many more things that I could offer. So I had to change my entire brand name to my original name, that's Swastik Nandakumar. So with that transition, I decided to delay this particular book launch. So perhaps the book that I've written now, I'll publish it about 2 years down the lane. But I'm going to be writing another book at this point. So
you'd finish one book and you're not going to publish it now?
I'll take some time, because what will happen is if I publish that particular book at this point, it'll take me back to my old positioning, which I'm trying to very consciously change.
So, okay, you said you don't want to be called like be into sales per se, right? That's the whole agenda. So what do you want to be known as? What is that?
So see, the thing is, over the last 3 years, one thing that I've realized is I'm very driven in helping people perform it.
Okay.
I also work as a peak performance coach, and one of my first counseling sessions was in about 2011. Since then, I've been studying human behavior and why people do things the way they do, and why is it that a few people see success, few people don't see success, and why is it that everybody cannot see success, or why is it that everybody don't see success when you can see it for them at times. And I've been very curious about these factors, and I've been helping people perform at their peaks. And I realized with the tag of sales, people would just see me to be a person who can help them with sales, where I can actually help them with so much more. Recently, we did a workshop in Bangalore called Reset, where I put 50 people together to help them reset every aspect of their life, get great clarity and great control on a lot of aspects of their life, their relationships, their health, their money, the way they look at their time. With all of these things, I wanted to shift my positioning, and that's why I moved away from sales.
Okay. I have this query by someone who had asked me this, and I don't know so much about business because I used to be in the restaurant business earlier, and as like your businesses collapsed during COVID, all our restaurants in Bali closed down.
Right.
A tourism-based economy. But this, I won't say young person, asked me that he's into, let's say, graphic designing and video editing, right? And many of them, they like give these cold emails, and then they get a message that, okay, edit this for us and give it to us, and then we'll go forward from there. So when he gives it, it works very nicely. They like it, but they don't bring up getting paid. They don't bring up a contract. What is happening exactly? How does one get a full-time job? Because nowadays video editors and graphic designers are like dime a dozen, right? You turn your head around and they are there. So how does one make like a space for themselves in this segment?
I could see Aryan's face like, shit, this is exactly what happens. Right. So see, the
He
thing.
didn't ask me, somebody else asked me.
No, I was just looking at his reaction when you were saying it. So I'm like, yeah, that is something that does happen for sure. Now, again, like I said, one factor is the supply demand phase. It's the supply demand space where the supply is so high and the demand is low. And now anybody is a graphic designer, anybody is a web designer, and there's no control. There's no quality control on any of these factors. So that's point one. Including a coach. Anybody can become a coach. Anybody can call themselves a coach. Forget a coach. Anybody can call themselves anything in this country.
Nowadays, oh Lord,
Right.
they ask me
You
about-
can call yourself anything. There is no limit to that. Now, the challenge that comes in here is, why do a few people sustain with that identity or the tagline, and why few people don't, is primarily what I've been studying and what I've been doing and working with a few businesses. That's their expert positioning.
Okay.
Why do few people stand out and compare to the others? Is because few people are seen as experts.
Okay.
If you are seen as an expert, people want to be with you. That's a factor. When you are an expert, people want to be with you. People want to connect with you. People want to talk to you. And when people want to talk to you, the demand for you is higher. So the first step in your business is to be seen as an expert in front of your audience, which means your positioning has to be very strong. Your positioning has to be consciously designed. You don't decide that I'm going to become a designer. Okay, what designer are you going to become? Okay, I'm going to become a website designer. Fine. What website designer are you going to become? I'm going to become a website designer whose primary criteria is to work with restaurants. I only build restaurant websites. I'm an expert in restaurant websites because this, and this. Now, when somebody comes to this person on their Instagram, this person is seen as a restaurant expert. This person really understands what restaurants do. And now the demand for this person is going to be high. Let's say you as a restaurant owner, you saw this person's Instagram, you'd be like, you know what? I think I want that person to build my website, not some random person.
Right.
You're getting 100 mails, but you want that person because you see him to be an expert. Today, that's the space.
Okay. So I got it. You're saying that this person is too generic. He's not coming across as doing something different from the others. He has to, when he applies to a certain company, then maybe he should say, okay, I'm expert at this business. So I don't know who.
One is saying you're an expert. When people check you out, see, one is you should tell people that you're an expert for sure. And when you do tell people that you're an expert, you don't expect people to believe you. They check you out.
Right.
And people can check you out today on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn, so many spaces where people can just Google your name and see what you're doing. And there, if your expertise is not shown, there's no reason to believe you again. Nobody needs to believe you. Stop. The thing I have to tell people here is stop playing the victim game. The victim game is where people tell me, Swastik, my business is not working out. I do this, I do that, but still nothing works out. My customers take a lot of free things from me, but still things don't work out. You're just playing the victim card. You're expecting somebody to give you sympathy. The world owes you nothing.
Right.
You need to step up and you need to create that demand for yourself.
Right. Many times they
One of the
can't
things that I tell people,
like I have some like bachas who come to me, ma'am, how do we say no to our clients? We are so overworked. We are like whatever. So how do you? This is what you're saying. Like you've got to be really fierce and just say it. But that could also damage your name in the market, right? That this person is so fierce.
here's the thing: if you're an expert and if you're saying no, your demand increases. It doesn't decrease. It doesn't damage your reputation. If somebody, for example, I'm actually booked through the month. I'm actually booked through the month, and I'm here in Pune, and my team has been behind me to do this podcast because you've been connected with them for a very long time, and we missed a few slots in the past. And then I said, okay, let's do it here when I'm in Pune. So the thing is, when somebody says no at that point, when you're in that phase where you're seen as an expert, when somebody says no, your demand actually increases than the reputation going down. You can say it very politely. I'm busy at this particular point for so and so reason. I cannot do this project at this particular price point because it doesn't work out for me.
Okay.
I cannot do it at this particular price point because all my other clients pay me this much. If I did this for you at this particular price point, it would look like I'm cheating the others. You being very polite and very confident in what you say doesn't really hamper your relationship. It in fact increases your reputation.
Okay. So I'm sure you have partners, right, in your business. How do you handle that? How do you handle the different mentalities, personalities, clashes? So what is your opinion? Because many a times we can't just do our own thing. We need to get people on board and get like a team. So how do you suggest one would go about that?
With respect to partnership now, I always work with people who have a complementary skill set,
Okay.
which means there are only few things that I'm good at.
Okay.
I'm very clear and very aware of that.
Okay.
I don't intend to do everything in my business. I don't intend to be good at everything in my business. I intend to do the things that I'm good at. And I have people who are not good at what I do, who are good at what they do. Now, with that, what happens is there's no ego clash. The biggest challenge with partners is that ego clash where two people are good at the same thing. That's where the ego comes in. I'm better. No, I'm better.
Right.
Me and my partners, they're phenomenally good at what they do. I'm really good at what I do. So they only if they come in do we complete the entire circle. Without their presence, the whole business doesn't run. There's no ego because whatever that person is the best.
Right.
So complementary skill set is something that you have to see in a partner or when you're hiring team members, because this whole game of ego, all of this actually slows down your business.
Right. And you bifurcate your responsibilities also, right?
Yes, roles and responsibilities have to be very clearly sorted out.
And you don't interfere in my domain, I don't interfere in your domain, as much as you dislike the decision that I have made. That's a very important thing.
Again, all decisions are collectively made, and there is a strong agreement that if one person is saying no, we have to respect that no of the other person, right? All of these decisions and discussions have to happen before you sign up, because in the beginning of the part, everything is rosy. If you ask me, you need to have the dirty talk first and all the happy talks later in the partnership. But people have the happy talks first and dirty talk later.
True. And then that's where the partnership breaks. Because
Yes.
you think that everything is hunky-dory. It was so beautiful to begin with.
Yes.
So that's an interesting thing, because generally we don't look at it. We look at it, oh, they are your friends. If you know them, let's get into a partnership where you're getting along so well. And then you realize, oh, we are so different from each other. Do personalities matter? Like, do you think that you have to have some synchronization in that besides your skills?
Absolutely. See, again, everybody is different, which means everybody has a different personality type, right? Again, let's say if both me and my partner are extremely creative people, if both of us are extremely creative people, we are just going to be flying in the sky. We are just going to be thinking big thoughts, but nothing is going to manifest in real life. If you are that high-headed person where you are coming up with dreams, you need to have another person who is grounded and bringing things to reality and saying, you know what, all your thoughts make sense, but let's do this now.
Right.
So you need to have those, contrasting personalities and the right personalities in your business for this to function.
Okay. And when you're mentoring, do you mentor, what age group do you mentor? Is there
So
like
I specifically mentor businesses that are that have already 2-3 year mark, and they are doing. Earlier, I used to take people from the scratch, but I realized that businesses have to run their course for some period of time for them to really understand the value of mentoring. Point one, and the second one is to really understand what they need help in specifically, because what happens otherwise is they look at mentor as the donkey who's supposed to carry their burden.
a,
That becomes a challenge. But when they understand, okay, this is the challenge that I have, I think I need to fix that. That's where when I tell them something, they know that they have to do it.
what
So I
is,
mentor businesses that are in the 2-3 year mark and they want to scale and make it big.
okay. So what is something you don't enjoy too much about your job?
My job.
Yeah.
So see, the thing is, I love, as much as I love the speaking part here, I dislike the content planning part.
Thank you so much. Even I hate it. Like, I don't know. And nowadays, actually, somebody just wrote, right? Isn't Instagram ruining social media? Like, everybody's creating content, and to keep this so-called charade, it's actually very fake. If you go to see, it's not, three of this, four of that, six of that, dancing to something, doing. I'm like, I tried, but I'm just so bad at content creation. I'm like, I can't.
If you see my Instagram, you'll see all my Instagram, which is actually a conversation. Today I'm in Pune, but otherwise, if I'm in my office, there are 2 cameras that are always in front of me in my office. My team, anytime I have a conversation, my team is recording it, and that becomes a piece of content where I never shoot content per se.
Yeah, same here. I've told them just take whatever I'm saying, because as a counselor, you have to repeat yourself like I don't know how many times. Just like you must be repeating yourself so many times, right? I'm sure what you have said today, you must have told like hundreds of people by now, and you kind of memorize in your mind कि automatically flow हो जाता है. तो तुमको सोचना भी नहीं पड़ता. कुछ केसेस ऐसे होते हैं जो बहुत अलग होते हैं और अचानक तुमको लगता है वाओ, but वो भी stressful होते हैं. So, but yeah. So, do you think Instagram is ruining like, since you have websites, what do you see? Instagram website, like you said, you have a website.
Here's the thing, I don't think anything is ruining anything. See, for me, it's like this. Instagram is a free platform. You don't want to be on Instagram, don't be on Instagram. Who's stopping you? Who's asking you to be on Instagram? Somebody has given you a free platform to actually grow your business, and you're complaining that it's ruining things without actually making use of it. Instagram is not asking you to pay a damn dime. Facebook is not asking you to pay anything. WhatsApp is not asking you to pay anything. Now, 100 people crib about how they're collecting data. Screw you. You either, if you choose not to be on that, don't be on that. Why do you crib about things that are working out? They have their business model. You need to create your business model. See, for me, the biggest thing that I always talk about is the amount of energy we spend cribbing. If you put the same amount of energy into doing the work that you have to do, a lot of things will change. The amount of energy we spend being jealous, the same amount of energy spent in looking at the good things in your competitors, your business will blow up. The amount of energy that you spend in negativity, if you spend the same amount, forget the same amount, 20%, 10% of that energy into positive thinking. And when I say positive thinking, not jumping up and saying, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. I'm talking about you actually stepping up and thinking, what can I do to make my business grow? Where are the other sources of revenues that I can, bring in? Where are my customers? How can I connect with them? Where are my customers on Instagram? Who are the people? Can I send them a message on Instagram? It's a bloody free platform. Can I do that? So that the thing is, all these topics, it get me on a rant because
I enjoy someone ranting because most of the time I'm doing it. So I'm very glad, because many times what happens when I'm on YouTube, they're like, oh, we prefer this YouTuber, we prefer that YouTuber. I'm like, why can't we all survive together? Why do you need to pit each other against each other? We are so unique as people. What you do, I can't do. What I do, you can't do. I mean, I'm sure we'll do something similar, but we'll never be same, right? We have something different. So I understand your rant completely. I'm like, literally, I have days when I'm just sitting with them, and generally, I don't think many YouTubers sit for 4 hours. I actually sit 4 hours talking to them. I'm solving questions. Like we have it's called lemon down session, where they keep asking me emotional wellness questions. They're having problems in school, family, heartbreak, this, that. So I'm like talking constantly. But then you have these few people who'll just come and say, oh, you said this, oh, that one said it better. I'm like, okay, fine. मुझे माफ करो, मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा. तुमको वहां जाना है वहां जाओ, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Let's all coexist peacefully, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Somebody's asked you a question. Sorry, किधर गया? Yeah. At 29, can he start from scratch in product design field?
Of course.
You can.
Like, why not? You can definitely, you can start anything at any point. Now, I don't mean to give you motivational talks, but well, KFC, when did he start? When did he launch? So yeah, of course, you can start anything at any point.
Yeah.
Now, if you're asking me how to start a product design business, then I have no answer because I've not been in that space. But you can start anything for sure. That's something that I can tell you.
Even I never thought I would have a YouTube channel. See, I'm doing it.
Of
So
course.
even I'm like learning kickboxing at my age. So I just keep saying that कि कभी भी जो करना है कर लो. Try karo and don't give up. And someone said, sir and ma'am, I have exams tomorrow. Please give your blessing. Meri blessing.
All the very best. All the very best. And if somebody is writing their exams, I have massive respect for them because the number of exams I've skipped personally and how difficult I find it to write an exam. I honestly, this is not in any sarcastic way. When somebody is actually going out there to write an exam and they're putting their efforts into preparing, I'm like, shit, this person has something that I've never had in my life. Because my sister, she's so committed in studies and she spends so much time in learning and very sequentially understanding things. At times, I'm like, if I was like her, things would have been different. Because that's a skill set that I lack. So if you're writing your exam and if you've been putting great efforts, you need to know that you have something and it's not something that everybody does. Everybody writes an exam maybe, but if you've been spending some time into working on your exam, you need to know that you're good at what you do.
Yeah. I get many students. Some students even 5 days before they come, they like, हमने पूरा साल पढ़ाई नहीं किया, मैम कुछ करो. Like yeah, मेरे पास कोई मैं जादू टोना कर सकती हूँ तुम्हारे दिमाग में तुम्हारे बुक्स का सारा information तुम्हारे दिमाग में जाए. Like ऐसे and I तो just refused. I said when you're done with your exams, ऐसा आता है. मेरा Discord server is like a virtual support group. We have study VCs and we have people sitting and helping each other. But you can't help someone who's not studied all the year through, right? It is impossible to do that. So, but you said you're an engineer, so you never studied, you're saying.
That's the problem, right? So that's what if you go to my website, it'll say I'm a failed engineer. I don't say I'm an engineer. Perhaps in this conversation, it started out as an engineer, but the only thing that I consistently did in my engineering was fail out of subjects. So yeah.
Okay, but tell me something. Lot of children, they have this mindset कि हम पढ़ाई छोड़ के बिजनेस करेंगे, ठीक है? पर मेरा माइंडसेट ये है कि सपोज आप बिजनेस कर भी रहे हो, थोड़ा बहुत आपके पास एक मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ी एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन आपको मदद भी करती है. व्हेन यू लर्न टू स्पीक, यू हैव अ सर्टिफिकेट जस्ट इन केस this doesn't work out, because most businesses, as you know, don't work. So although you also studied, are you saying that whatever you studied, it didn't come across, even your certification or whatever you didn't help you somewhere along your journey?
So see, the thing is, a lot of people, my parents still don't believe that I've completed my engineering because I don't know where my certificate, I don't know where my degree is.
Okay.
I don't think I've collected it from my colleges yet. So see, the thing is, honestly, that degree and certificate has been absolutely useless. But one thing that has been very, very useful is me spending time in that college. When I say, what I mean by that is that space and time in college gave me a lot of confidence, the confidence to speak, the confidence to do things, the confidence to, I was very active in a lot of, engagements in college. All of that is where this confidence came from. So that part, definitely, yes. But you would be asking the wrong person if you were asking about studies and subjects.
मेरे हिसाब से इतना ज्यादा भी पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं, पर बिल्कुल भी नहीं पढ़ना वो भी गलत है. That's what my
Right. Again, see, at this point, I have to tell you this one thing. And this is, as much as I did not study in engineering, every single day, even on my vacation, when I'm driving my car, I spent a minimum of 3 hours studying.
Okay.
At this point. Every single day. And I've done this for the last 3 years. Every single day in the morning, I spend a minimum of 3 hours studying. And it's just that I did not. Now.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
Studying and learning something new is a very strong part of my routine, and it's something that I cannot live without. And see, the thing is, I realized that it's not that I disliked learning. It's not that I disliked studies. And that's a mistake that people make. They think that just because they hated engineering, hated their degrees, they think that everything is bad,
Okay.
right? But I really like the learning that I do at this point.
Yeah, this is a different knowledge, right? It gets you excited. Like same here. Even I think knowledge is wow. Learning so many different things. In the COVID, I joined a group counselors course from America. I became a soft skills trainer. I was just loving it. जो प्रैक्टिकल लर्निंग जो अभी करते हैं वो अलग बात है, जो हम स्कूल में करते हैं, जो रट्टाबाजी करते हैं, पर वो भी मेरे हिसाब से कहीं ना कहीं इम्पोर्टेंट तो होता है. Are you getting late or something? I saw someone is calling. You want to just address that?
No, that's it.
Okay. So I think I've asked you so many questions. I hope you're not tired. You want to drink a glass of water. So are you planning to ever visit Jakarta, Dubai anytime?
Yes, actually, for sure. Because, just last week, I was just telling my team that, the year end or the early next year, we should spend some good time in Dubai for at least 15-20 days. Because we spend so much time working hard and we need to go celebrate at times. So, yes, sure.
Look me up. I should be moving by August, right?
Oh, man.
In case you're there.
Right.
Definitely a lunch or a coffee, whatever you have time for. I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
किसी है मैम, जब आप फाइनल में पासिंग मार्क्स ले आओ पर टीचर ने इंटरनल्स में फेल कर दिया, वो भी 2 नंबर से, क्या करे मेरे जैसा इंजीनियर? तो व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से अगर से वो फेल हो गए तो?
This is what I did. Go beg your teacher for 2 marks. See, not beg your teacher for 2 marks after the results come out. You need to beg your teacher for 2 marks. Again, see here, by the way, this might feel like I'm me trying to push in like a moral in the mistakes that I've made. But here's the thing. Even when I was failing in my engineering, one thing that I always had was my 15 internal marks. Not because I would earn them. It's because after I got it, I would go beg the teacher to give me 15 marks. By either writing extra assignments or doing extra work, I have to make sure that, let's say, somehow with some magic I happen to get 35 marks in my externals. I shouldn't fail because of my two marks in internals, because that is something that I have in my control. I can go talk to the teacher. I can see how I can get those 2 additional marks. So please do that proactively. And in life, this is a mistake. We take actions once the results come out. You need to start doing things proactively.
Right.
By the way, this is another habit that I picked up from engineering in a very different way, but this is still a very interesting thing that I picked up. Yes.
Okay. Arun, you wanted to ask something?
No, I just wanted to kind of answer that question.
Yeah.
Something that I did is like, I actually never even submitted my assignments or the journal. So I have my board exams going on right now, and yet I still haven't even made my journals. But I still have each and every one of my internal marks, just because I always kept a good relation with the teachers, The teachers, I was like, okay, this guy does something, Like I put in my work whenever there's a class or something, there's some kind of activity going on. We have an event. The principal himself, he calls me anytime there's something going on. Everyone knows me. Like every teacher, even the teachers that I do not like, that don't teach me, even they know me very well. So that's something I do. If you have a good relationship with the principal, the teachers, you will get your internal marks without fail. Like every time I go for a PTM, I go and meet the principal personally. Wow. So I literally did not even go to school for the whole year, and I still have 100% attendance.
आपके चरण का है, अरे. Just kidding. Somebody is asking, भाई tax की tuition कहाँ लगाऊं अगर कोई online classes है? Do you know anything about that? For tax.
I have no idea.
Okay. Is it true countries like UK have successful people without formal college education? What is your take?
It's true that countries like India have successful people without formal education. It's true that people in every country have successful people. See, the thing is, again, all of us are forced to look at what we don't have in our control, because we somewhere want to believe that if I was there, I would be different.
Right.
And that gives us solace in life. That makes us feel like I'm a victim. Mm-hmm. Stop playing that card in your life. You need to eliminate that one card that you have, that is the victim card, because if you discard that from your life, saying, you know what, this is a card that I'm not going to play anymore. I'm only going to play the card of being a victor, where I only do things that are in my control. I'm in India. What are the things that I can do? The population is crazy. You sell one rupee product to everybody in the country, you are going to be the richest person.
True.
Think about that. Think about the number of opportunities you have in this very country.
Good point. So this so-called money management, which children don't know anything about, do you help your clients with that also? Where to invest? What are they doing? Or that's not part of your job also?
So basically, my business in Pune, one of the businesses that I own here in Pune, we are into capital investments, capital trading, and we look at investments, but we are more focused on growing your money. The money that you have, we are more focused on multiplying and growing that money, and it's important to make your money grow. One is you need to bring in more income. The second one is you need to grow that money, and the third part is from that part is where you go into investment. So that's the phase that you need to look at.
Okay. So then nowadays everybody is into Bitcoin and all of it. So what do you suggest to the current generation? How are they? कोई बोलता है mutual funds में करो, वो क्या SIP क्या होता है? कुछ तो भी होता है. मुझे ज़्यादा नहीं पता.
See, the thing is,
what is your financial advice to the younger
my
generation?
financial advice is go learn how to trade first. Don't look at crypto. Bitcoin is booming and put some money that you don't have into Bitcoin. You need to understand how charts work. You need to understand what is the trend. Why is Bitcoin growing? And why are these coins coming in? So many people investing in random coins that are going to go for a toss just because somebody is saying it's going to grow. And again, another thing that people want to do is they take advice from their friends because they want to put a blame. If something doesn't work, they're going to blame their friends. They don't want to take the responsibility. It's everything. Any question that you ask me from now on, perhaps is going to land in the same answer. Is you need
You're
to take
sounding like me. Actually, तुम्हारे और मेरे जॉब में एक commonality है. सब सारा टाइम मेरा भी वही रहता है. Victim play करना बंद करो, pity party बंद करो. अपने take responsibility for where your life is headed. So you and I are kind of similar. Our coaching, counseling style is similar.
Absolutely.
Because obviously, you can't say कि oh please pity yourself. Oh feel bad for yourself. Continue playing victim. We can't obviously say that. That would be, I'm sure they would love it, but it's not going to be helpful, right?
Yeah, definitely not. There's no point in doing that. It's just a way of escape. It's just a way of escape.
Okay. And do you ever travel within India to give these classes, like you said in Pune and you live in Bangalore, or is it only Pune and Bangalore generally? How do you all work? Is it like offline, online classes? How are these things?
I primarily operate online because I don't necessarily travel for any of these classes. So I only travel to the places where my clients are, where I spend time with them and we plan and strategize their business. But I don't travel on doing these workshops all that much at this point, primarily because there's a lockdown also for a very long period of time. Right. So we have a studio back in Bangalore. We have a studio here in Pune as well. But we primarily operate from the studio in Bangalore.
Okay. Does it tire you out, like constantly doing this? Do you take a break?
It doesn't tire me out because I barely spend time like doing this.
So what do you do?
I don't know. I have a lot of free time at disposal at my disposal. I spend a lot of time with watching a lot of movies. Perhaps I'm going to be catching a movie in another 30 minutes. So I
RRR and KGF. Is it your kind of thing? Since you're
I watch all the movies that are there. In fact, I would have watched every single movie in the theater. So
same here. मैं अगर से घर में नहीं मिलूंगी तो तुम्हें थिएटर में मिलूंगी.
Right.
I think थिएटर में मूवी देखने का मजा ही अलग रहता है.
Yes, of course.
घर वो छोटा सा, I mean not that इतना छोटा screen है, but that sound system makes a hell of a lot of difference.
No, for me, see, the thing is, one of the strong thoughts that, or the strong ideologies that I have is if you are an entrepreneur and if your desire has been lifestyle, you need to get that lifestyle. Otherwise, you're doing something wrong. So for me, being in this space, I wanted to have the money, I wanted to have the time, I wanted to have the quality of life. These three factors, if they don't exist in my life, it feels like I'm just doing things that I don't want to do. When you ask me this question, don't you get tired? I don't get tired because I have a very neatly balanced out with my time, with my life, with my different sectors of my life is very neatly mapped out, and I get to spend a lot of time doing each of these things. So very, very little time that I do spend on this.
But I'm sure you started off, I mean, like now you have like all sorted, right? There must be a time when you're juggling a lot of things.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. 100%. What I'm saying is, see, your desired state, the point where you want to get to, you need to get there. And right. I'm not saying get rich quick. You see, I'm not saying get rich easy. There's a difference between getting rich quick and getting rich easy. People think that get rich quick is equal to get rich easy. Get rich quick is something that I I want you to experience. You don't get rich quick at bloody 60. What do you do by getting rich at 60? You need to have good money when you're 35, when you're 40 at least, or in your 30s. You need to have money. So
Right.
you need to get rich quick, but don't think that getting rich quick is equal to getting rich easy.
It takes struggle. It takes a lot
Oh
of
yes, for
dedication,
sure, for
patience,
sure.
and the
Absolutely.
idea also. I think इतने सारे. I think वो Shark Tank देख के सबका दिमाग काफी अपने अलग ही लेवल पे गया है और पता नहीं क्या नया नया चीजें निकाल रहे हैं. What was your take on Shark Tank? How was that for you? Did you watch it?
Again, so see, I grew up, when I say I grew up watching Shark Tank, I think a lot of this inspiration of being an entrepreneur perhaps comes from there itself. Not the Indian Shark Tank, I'm talking about the US one.
UK one. There
Of
was
course,
a
I'm watching the
UK
Indian
one.
one as well. Sorry?
There was a UK one also, right? जो
Yes,
है.
yes, yeah. So again, see, Shark Tank as a concept itself, you need to learn the lessons that you need to take away from that is innovation, how to make a sale, how to make a pitch, how to influence people, what works, what does not work, what is a scalable business, what is a non-scalable business, what are the factors that you need to consider before you put in money. All of these things are the lessons that you need to pick up from those things. So I think those are things that I've been looking at for a very long time, and those have inspired me to a great extent.
But when you had this so-called business where it failed the 7 times, what really brought you back? Could you give the children, because they give up very easily? I have seen the threshold of handling any kind of sort of issues in their life is like minimum. So what do you think?
See, I have. Do you know about the concept of the shiny object syndrome?
No, what is that?
Shiny object syndrome is where you look at one opportunity and you're like, wow, this is nice. And then you go to the next, then somebody else introduces you to another opportunity and you're like, shit, oh, that is nice. That is better than mine. You hop into that. The third one, you go into that. And so people keep presenting opportunities for you and you keep hopping into it. Now, I'm a strong, I've been a strong consumer of that shiny object syndrome, you could say, where I hopped in from one to the next, 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 because at every point, it's like the grass is greener on the other side. A lot of people go against the shiny object syndrome and they say that you should stick to one thing and you need to go all in and you need to do that. But if you ask me, I quite literally talk the other way, because I feel at this point, I don't have that shiny object syndrome anymore. And
Your
this is where I know that this is the space that I have to be in.
Okay.
So it is okay for you to experience multiple things. For you to know what you want, you need to do multiple things first.
True.
And when you're doing these multiple things, don't expect money to come to you. At least don't expect the pouring money that you see on TV, where people are they are making money for sure, but they also did these things. That's what I'm saying. Everybody has their course to run.
Right.
You can't see. There might be people who've been successful by doing that one thing and they did from the beginning till the end, but those instances are very few. People have gone their courses, and from their learnings into these subjects, multiple subjects that they've had, collectively it becomes one subject, and that's where a lot of things change.
Yeah, I see that a lot of children come to me, they watch Ankur Warikoo ji and then they say कि उन्होंने इतना success हासिल किया. ऐसे पर उनका struggle भी तो देखो. ऐसे
Yeah.
And look at his age, look at they always compare the chapter 1 with somebody's chapter 50, and then they think हमारा नहीं है, अरे हमारे पास क्यों नहीं है. And sometimes ऐसा भी होता है कि parents को भी compare करते हैं. Your
Right.
parents might not have it, maybe my parents didn't have it, but somebody else's parents had that kind of somebody. Okay, there's a question from YouTube. Okay, somebody's asking how to build a skill set and earn online and out of country, in and out of the country.
How to build skill set
How to
and
build a
learn
skill
out
set
on
and
out of the
earn
country.
online, in and outside the country. Means internationally, कैसे अपने आप को cold emails चलते हैं, क्या करना चाहिए एक इंसान?
See, again, it depends what skill set you want to learn. Let's say you pick up the skill set of being a good digital marketer. If you do pick up the skill set of being a good digital marketer, you need to also pick up another skill of prospecting clients and getting clients. Each of these things are a skill set. Each of this part is a skill set, and it's a set of these skill set that gets you clients. The rule that you apply for Indian clients is the same rule that you apply for US clients. It's not like for the Indian clients you go knock on their doors, right? For the Indian clients also, you go on their LinkedIn and perhaps send them a mail, or you go on their Instagram and send them a message, or you run an ad on Instagram. The same thing is what you do for international clients as well. But the first skill set part, you need to have all of these skill set. How to pick up a skill set, you can learn from people. You can work with, if you ask me, learning from people who are doing it, working with people who are doing it. Books also, of course. But what happens is in books, no, you get caught up with learning too much and not really applying anything. That feel good factor of I know it all comes in, but it's not really reflecting in your life.
Yeah.
That's the challenge with books, if you ask me. YouTube, books, all of these fall in the same category, if you ask me. When people binge watch YouTube, you suddenly have that feel good factor of, oh, I know it all. But where is it reflecting in your bank account is my general question when people tell me that. So, yeah,
Do you have a YouTube channel?
no, I don't.
Okay. Are you planning one?
It's too much work.
I know, tell you about it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sleepless nights, like kya content kaun banaye. Like I like this, right? You're talking to someone, you're answering question answers, but ये बैठ के वीडियो पे वीडियो बना, पर सब लोग के अपने अपने थॉट्स होते हैं. मैम इस टॉपिक पे वीडियो बनाओ, फ्रेंड्स विद बेनिफिट्स पे बनाओ, मैम हमारा लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस चल रहा है उस पे बनाओ, मैम हमको स्टडी स्ट्रेस हो रहा है उसके लिए क्या करना है. तो लाइक कॉन्स्टेंटली यू आर लाइक थिंकिंग, ओके ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है, उनको ये भी सिखाना है. So trust me, it is not easy. They have this long.
Yeah, so I didn't even think of getting into that space because it's too much work for me. So
Okay, cool. So anyway, thank you so much for doing this. Before you leave, give us thoda words of wisdom. Yeah, anything that you wanted me to ask you, but I didn't ask, and you would like to talk about.
no, I think this is something that I've been speaking from the beginning, and that's something that I want to leave with as well. Stop playing the victim game. The world owes you nothing. The world does not owe you anything. The world does not owe you money when you're born. The world does not owe you the so-called right parents. Everybody is absolutely beautiful. The world does not owe you the right person as a partner. The world does not owe you the right relationship. The world does not owe you a client. The world, and by the way, people think that the world owes them something because they're so-called good people. I appreciate the fact that you're a great person. That's awesome. That is definitely going to aid you in your relationships and when you connect with people. Just because you're a fantastic person, the world does not owe you shit. If you want something, you have to go get it. You want it, you get it. That's the formula of life. So stop playing the victim card. If you want something, go out there and get it. It's your responsibility to do it.
And जिसने ये question अभी पूछा, how to overcome jealousy, answer यही है. Stop playing the victim card. अपनी journey पे focus करो. और प्रोग्रेस को टाइम लगता है. दूसरों को देखने में बिजी रहोगे तो खुद का प्रोग्रेस नहीं देख पाओगे. तो थैंक यू सो मच स्वस्तिक, रियली अप्रिशिएट यू टेकिंग टाइम. आई नो तुम्हारी टीम मैंने उनका दिमाग काफी खाया, बट थैंक्स सो मच फॉर डूइंग दिस.
Thank you so much.
It was such a pleasure talking to you. You're like so energetic and you have this, I've seen the posters also, you're always smiling, so keep smiling. God bless you with lots
Thank
of
you so much.
success and good luck with your book.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's lovely being here in this. It's lovely being here. I'm looking forward to going through your YouTube channel, and I think the work that you're doing is phenomenal. The kind of work that you put in, the efforts that you put in, and despite all the negativity that comes in, you continue doing what you do. That's the part that most people miss out on, which is amazing. So thank you so much for what you do. Thank you so much for having me here. Yes, more
Actually, एक बात रह गई जो मैं हर गेस्ट को पूछती हूँ. What's your take on mental health? और क्योंकि इंडिया में इतना स्टिग्मा है मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में, कोई अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स के बारे में बात नहीं करना चाहता. हाँ, गॉसिप बथेरे करेंगे, बट दे जनरली डोंट गो टू सीक हेल्प. जैसे कि कोई कहेगा कि यू नो दे आर फीलिंग स्ट्रेस्ड और दे आर नॉट फीलिंग ओके मेंटली, जैसे अच्छा पागल हो गए हैं, पागल खाने में डाल दो. सो डू यू हैव एनीथिंग टू से फॉर द न्यूअर जनरेशन to not stigmatize mental health and talk about their problems, because many of them are very suicidal because they don't talk about it. You see, अंदर ही अंदर घुट के उन लोग जीते हैं कि इसको नहीं बता सकते, उसको नहीं बता सकते. So what is your take on mental health?
What I have to tell you, what I have to tell everybody here is keeping things with you, being stressed out is not a sign of courage. A lot of people get confused with, if I cry, if I withhold things onto myself, they see it as a sign of courage, especially men, especially boys. That's, I think they find it a little, I can only speak on, the behalf of men and boys for that matter. So I think this is a very strong factor with men and with guys, where they see this to be a sign of courage, but it's not. Really being able to share your heart out and speak your heart out is the real sign of courage, if you ask me. So when you're stressed out, when you're under pressure, a cooker has that whistle to release that pressure. You need to release that pressure. Think about what would happen to that cooker without that whistle that was missing. You need to release that pressure every now and then, otherwise you're going to blow up. So yes, it's a very critical factor, and I'm so glad that you are stepping up to educate people on this, because it's a very strong subject that people have to be aware of.
Yeah, thank you. And you rightly said, but the strange thing is, considering you're saying that boys from bachpan are told ki rona nahi, man up, अरे लड़की जैसे क्यों रो रहे हो, you know, all that is there, but my 80 to 90% of my clientele is guys.
Hmm.
So times are changing, you
That's
know,
beautiful.
and also they are also getting their parents to me. You see, the ones who cannot afford it and they know that their parents are, of course, I don't take suicidal tendencies or mental illness, but I handle the general emotional, and ज़्यादातर cases वैसे ही होते हैं जो emotionally आप बहुत perturbed होते हो. And मैं ये भी देख रही हूँ कि इंडिया में men have to work, women have to be homemakers. I'm trying to make a change there also, where they support each other and
Right.
they both study, both work. ये जो so called you know कि men ये करते हैं, women ये करते हैं, I'm trying to even change that. So धीरे धीरे hopefully I'll do that too.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you
Thank
so much for doing.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming here, and
Thank
hopefully
you.
समय आओगे, do look me up.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll perhaps catch up with you soon. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
Ari. Take care.
Bye.
See you. See you. Bye.
क्या लिखा आर्यन तुमने? शेयरिंग शेयरिंग विद अदर्स विल बी ट्रबल. नहीं, ट्रबल तो हाँ, पर कितना करते हो? अगर से बहुत ज्यादा करते हो तो फिर ट्रबल ही हुआ ना. लोग अगर से
बहुत लोगों के
कॉन्स्टेंटली,
साथ होता है, you know, कि
हाँ?
उनको क्यों परेशान करे. Like, you know, they have their own issues. I myself have went through that. I had a lot of things to share, but I was like, you know what? पहले उनकी प्रॉब्लम सुनूंगा, बाद में अपना देखूंगा. I got into smoking and all due to that. Like, खुद का इतना प्रेशर होने लगा that I was like, I'll calm myself down and be there for the other person.
तो बेसिकली हेल्दी कोपिंग मैकेनिज्म नहीं है ना, वो कहने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
Yeah, it's like you can go out, you can drive or stuff like that, but 11th, 12th, parents don't let you go out. They don't let you go hang out with friends a lot. Those. No, actually, I wanted to ask you for the Discord. I wanted to become a permanent mod. If it that's
बेटा
okay.
ये इधर नहीं, हमारे टीम मीटिंग में हम डिस्कस करेंगे, ठीक है? I'll talk because अभी ये सब YouTube पे देख रहे हैं, by the way.
Right, I forgot.
अभी तो मैं ऑफलाइन नहीं गई हूँ, और जिन को नहीं पता, आज कुछ बहुत I don't know what to call them. They came to Discord.
Disturbing.
या तो बेसिकली डिस्कॉर्ड में डिस्कॉर्ड कर दिया, मतलब उसको डिस्टर्ब कर दिया, इतना स्पैमिंग, मुझे गालियां, गंदी गंदी गालियां. I feel really sorry for the ones who do this, because I know something is not right in your life and you're taking it out on, and you think that you're going to dull my spark. It's not going to happen, okay? तो तुम कितना भी कोशिश कर लो, तुमको कितने बार उसको स्पैम करना है, तुमको क्या होएगा? तुमको फाइनली होपफुली तुमको अक्ल आ जाएगी कि मैं कुछ अच्छा करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ और बीच में आप ऑब्स्टिकल का रोल प्ले कर रहे हो. So be it. आप I think you just came to even the Zoom today again, and
Yeah.
ना तुम हम लोगों को तंग करोगे, उतना हम आपसे, एक तो आपके जैसे गंदे तो बनेंगे नहीं, ठीक है? I don't care about you. I don't want to give you the attention. Yes, that day I was very protective. तुम मेरे टीम या मेरे बच्चों जो भी मुझे सब्सक्राइब करते हो, उनको तुम तंग करोगे, मैं चुप नहीं दूंगी. तुम लोग मुझे गाली गलौज तो करते हो. अभी वही मैं सोचती हूँ कभी कभी, जैसे अभी स्वस्तिक ने एक चीज बात बोली करके, जरूरी नहीं है कि जस्ट बिकॉज यू आर अ नाइस पर्सन लोग आपके साथ अच्छा बिहेव करें, राइट? सो आई हैव टू वर्क टुवर्ड्स नॉट गेनिंग योर, आई डोंट इवन गिव अ डैम कि तुम क्या सोचते हो मेरे बारे में. मुझे पता है कि जो मैं काम कर रही हूँ कुछ अलग कर रही हूँ, और आपसे डाइजेस्ट नहीं हो रहा कि क्योंकि शायद आपको कोई ये अटेंशन नहीं दे रहा है, ये रिस्पेक्ट नहीं दे रहा है, तो आपने बोला चलो इनकी लाइफ हम थोड़ा अपसेट कर दे. बट यू डोंट नो मी, ठीक है? आई एम स्ट्रॉन्गर देन यू नो, and I'm not going to give up. You can come as many times on Zoom, as many times on YouTube, as many times on Discord. We are together, and by the way, हमारी community बहुत strong है. आपको लगता है आप चंद 2-4 लोग हम लोगों को ब्रेक करोगे, हम आपको ये satisfaction देंगे ही नहीं. तुम कितने बार भी आ जाओ Zoom में, Zoom करते जाओगे. मैंने आज एक्चुअली सोचा क्या करूं, आने दूं नहीं करूं, ब्लॉक करूं, आज Zoom में नहीं, बट आज वो एक अडिल करके आए थे, बस वो इंसान ने स्वस्तिक से बात की, उसके जो फेस पे जो मुस्कान थी और वो इतने खुश थे उनको ये बोलकर that alone, I think it was worth you trolling me, you bullying me, you abusing me. I'm okay with it because I know I'm a good person. I don't need to prove anything to you, but you do need to prove something. I don't know who are your parents. Do they even know? I hope they never find out that you do all this shit behind their back. It would be really sad. कोई parent ये नहीं चाहता कि उसके बच्चे ऐसे दूसरों को तंग करे. But ठीक है, तुमको इसमें जो भी मिल रहा है, लाइक लास्ट टाइम मैंने तुमको बोला था ना, तुम में और एक पेट में क्या डिफरेंस है. मैं थोड़ा प्यार उधर दिखा दूं ना, वो पेट भी मेरे को इज्जत करना स्टार्ट करे. आप देख रहे हो मैं इतना काम करती हूँ, इतना काउंसलिंग करके, इतना डिस्कॉर्ड पे, यूट्यूब पे इतने लोगों की मदद करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ, पर आपके मन में इतना से भी एम्पैथी नहीं कि चलो मैम को तंग तो नहीं कर. अच्छा मत करो, कोई बात नहीं, मुझे मदद मत करो, मेरे लिए वॉलंटियर मत करो. अभी जैसे आर्यन ने भी वॉलंटियर किया, कितने सारे, मंजीत ने, मृदु ने, अनुराग है, हमारे टीम में कितने अच्छे अच्छे बच्चे हैं, दिव्यांशु, दिव्यांश, सायन, इतने सारे, अभी सौरभ है, सो मेनी, उत्कर्ष है. ये सब बच्चे इतने अच्छे. एंड तुम्हारे ये फालतूगिरी करने से तुमको लगता है मेरा ध्यान इन अच्छे बच्चों से निकल जाएगा? नहीं, आप इतने से हो और ये लोग इतने बड़े हैं, राइट? हम लोग, तुम वो मे बी वो काटा हो, बट हमारा गुलदस्ता इज ह्यूज. whether it is Discord, whether it is YouTube, I will continue my good work. You want to do what you want, I don't give a damn about it. But तुमको मुझे गाली देना है ना, दो. अगर से तुम्हें मुझसे प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है, बट don't talk about my admin, don't talk about these children. They have not done anything to you. You shouldn't be, and not that I have done, but it's okay, I'm an adult, I can still handle. But तुम कितने सारे छोटे बच्चे भी हमारे डिस्कॉर्ड पे हो, तुम ऐसी गंदी गंदी चीजें पोस्ट करते हो, उनको it's really sad कि तुमको समझ में नहीं आता है कि तुम्हारे एक्शंस का इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा. ठीक है, हमने तो अभी सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स इंक्रीज कर दिया है, आपको पता चलेगा. थोड़ा और कीजिए, थोड़ा. हमने आईपी एड्रेसेस को ट्रैक करना, आप लोगों को हमारे सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स के बारे में बताना तो नहीं चाहती, बट ठीक है, होपफुली वन डे whoever you are, you will get exposed and you will regret this, because not because I care what you're doing, but I'm just saying you're wasting your life. बच्चा, तुम जो भी हो, शोभा नहीं देता. हम कितने गंदे लोग ऑलरेडी दुनिया में. व्हाई डू यू वांट टू बी वन ऑफ देम? आई डोंट नो. अगर से गंदा बनना है तो फिर गो टू द प्रॉपर चैनल्स एंड ठीक से गंदा बनो. इधर क्या कर रहे हो यार? ये अच्छे लोगों की जगह है, आपकी जगह यहाँ नहीं. अगर से आपको ये सब मैस करना है, क्या हो गया? गॉड्स लोनली मैन. आज जो क्या बोलते हैं, किसी ने हमारे डिस्कॉर्ड सर्वर पे 20-25 लोग आके बहुत गंद लिखा, बहुत गालियां दी मुझे, बच्चों को भी गालियां दी, एडमिन्स को, मॉड्स को. मुझे तो बहुत गंदी गंदी गालियां लिखी उस बंदे ने. ठीक है, तो मुझे पता है वो लड़का है. इट्स वेरी सैड कि तुम लड़कों, मेरे पास एक बैच ऑफ लड़के हैं, इतने स्वीट है. पता है मैम कुछ करने की कोशिश कर रही है, मदद करते हैं एडिटिंग में, वीडियो में. नहीं तो मैं कैसे, एक इंसान कैसे इतने लोगों को मदद कर सकता है? और कुछ ये चंद लोग हैं, चलो ठीक है. So yeah, it was very upsetting कि someone has so much fucking free time that you're doing this. I hope you're watching me and I hope you wake up from this and understand that how wrong you are. Anyway, so किसने क्या लिखा? Today was a bad day for me. Currently having fever, but okay. Gaurav, I hope you feel better and I'm glad. अच्छा, sorry बच्चा लोग, तुम लोगों ने बहुत सारे compliments लिखे. By the way, सारी नहीं है. चूड़ीदार कुर्ता पहना है मैंने. और गौरव, थैंक यू. पता नहीं कितने लोगों ने आज कॉम्प्लीमेंट दिए मेरे इंडियन लुक पे. थैंक यू सो मच. इट ब्रॉट अ स्माइल ऑन माय फेस एंड यू ऑल आर वेरी वेरी नाइस. तुम लोग बहुत अच्छे हो जो मुझे इतना सपोर्ट करते हो. एंड आई नो मैंने हमेशा कहती हूँ करके, मुझे ये कहना नहीं है पर क्यों कहना पड़ता है. लाइक, सब्सक्राइब, कमेंट करो, चैनल को ग्रो करो. वी आर ट्राइंग टू मेक अ न्यू इंडिया विद इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट चिल्ड्रन. एक दूसरे को सपोर्ट करके हम लोग कुछ डिफरेंट करेंगे, साथ में करेंगे. मैं अकेली नहीं कर सकती. आई नीड यू. ओके, या RDX आर्मी. आर्यन ने लिखा RDX का आया, इतना ही फ्री टाइम है तो गेम्स खेलो. पता नहीं यार, गेम्स खेलना है. थैंक यू फॉर इंटरव्यूइंग माय सन. ओह शालिनी जी, not at all, my pleasure. Thank you so much. He's such a sweetheart. I mean, he's full of smiles. So thank you, Shalini ji, I'm glad that your son made time for celebrate with Rachna. Okay, should we take a nap from digital world in order to stay happy? I don't necessarily feel कि you need to take a nap. Yes, not a complete sabbatical. Why? Because फिर जब तुम वापस आते हो अचानक तुम्हारे लिए इतना लॉन्ग ड्रॉन अफेयर होता है. बट जैसे आज मुझे एक बच्चे ने लिखा कि मैम मैंने मेरे एक्स की स्टोरी देखी. मैंने बोले तुम्हें इतनी चुल क्यों मची है, उसकी स्टोरी क्यों देख रहे हो? तो ले लो ना सबैटिक, एक नैप ले लो इस चीज से. सो दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर योर मेंटल हेल्थ. एंड फॉलो गुड हेल्थ मेंटल हेल्थ पेजेस. नॉट जहाँ पे तुम्हें कॉन्स्टेंटली ऐसा फील हो कि मुझे मैं आज क्या देख रही थी, कुछ तो भी मैं देख रही थी. हाँ, वो शमिता शेट्टी का एक, अभी मैंने उसको सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, पर वो रील पॉपअप हुआ है. क्या कर रही है वो, कुछ बेबी जैसे कुछ बात कर रही है. आई एम लाइक वाओ, उस पे इतने कमेंट्स, मतलब इतने वेले लोग. एक तो वो वेली है काम करने के लिए ऐसा, तुम लोग इतने वेल, तुम्हारी नहीं बट लोगों की बात कर रही हो, इतने वेले है कि यू पीपल आर जस्ट फॉलोइंग एनी कंटेंट which is not going to add any value to your life. ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत एंटरटेनमेंट अच्छा है, मैं मना नहीं कर रही, बट थोड़ा सोच समझ के. सो पूरे तरह से डोंट गो ऑफ द चार्ट्स कि कुछ भी नहीं करना, क्योंकि how much we learn also, right? Like suppose आप आज ये पॉडकास्ट नहीं अटेंड करते तो आप स्वस्तिक जी से ये सब नहीं सीखते, मुझसे कुछ नहीं सीखते. तो इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट कि हम कुछ चीजें, अच्छी चीजें जो सीख सकते हैं. पर तुम लोग का प्रॉब्लम क्या है, तुम लोग बाउंड्रीज ड्रॉ नहीं करते. यू पीपल जस्ट कंटिन्यू watching and watching, so that you need to reduce. And एक सेकंड ना, इधर एक कमेंट आया, मुझे पढ़ने दो. क्या लिखा है? मैम एक्स की स्टोरी दिखी तो टैप हो ही जाता है. अच्छा, द मोस्ट लाइक पिक्चर ऑन इंस्टाग्राम एन एग एंड अ सिंपल एग. नहीं, पर स्टोरी तुमको किसने बोला फॉलो करने को? तुम लोग को मस्ती भी कम तो नहीं है ना? अब क्या करें. हाँ, ओके, आई एम वेरी हैप्पी गौरव कि तुम्हारा अच्छा गया एग्जाम. डू वेल. और जो भी बच्चे हमारे हैं जो पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, आके मैम को मदद करो. जब भी किसी भी तरह से, अगर से मुझे भी मदद नहीं कर सकते दुनिया में, कुछ अच्छा करके करना जरूर, थोड़ा थोड़ा ही सही, बट कंटिन्यू दैट वुड बी योर थैंक यू टू मी फॉर हेल्पिंग यू. दैट्स ऑल. ठीक है. अच्छा, आज के लिए मैं चली, क्योंकि बाय द वे I have a podcast on Sunday, which we were like looking forward to. At least I was looking forward to for a very long time. That is with someone from who's going to discuss the LGBTQIA++. मुझे तो इतना नहीं पता, but I want to understand, and let's all respect the LGBTQ community. Let's try to understand what is happening, why it happens, the stigma that is attached, how do they handle it, and let's try to make a better India, okay, with understanding these kind of कुछ भी बोलो, वो इंसान है. अगर से उन्हें तकलीफ हो रही है तो हमें भी होनी चाहिए, because we are from the same race. We are supposed to be empathetic about people around us. ठीक है. And Monday को most probably for the on the beam session, I'm getting someone who's going to help you all how to make presentations, okay, so that देखो सब फ्री में कोशिश कर रही हूँ, सीखो. और जब तुम लोग कुछ बन जाओ, आओ, हो पता नहीं चैनल ऑन रहेगा कि नहीं, बट कहीं ना कहीं किसी को मदद करना. ठीक है. दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट यू ऑल टू डू फॉर मी. ओके. और क्या, बाय बाय, चिल करो. हाँ हाँ, मैं चिल नहीं हूँ, डोंट वरी. इससे ज्यादा चिल होगी तो मैं फ्रीज हो जाऊंगी. ठीक है ना. तो इतना काफी है आज के लिए, एंड आई सी यू ऑल सून. गॉड ब्लेस यू, लव यू ऑल, एंड थैंक यू फॉर ऑल द सपोर्ट. All my अच्छा बच्चाs who continue to always take care of me. How many, even just now, Camelia wrote such a beautiful message. Bye ma'am, आगे बढ़ो, हम आपके साथ हैं. Thank you. जैसे अभी Camelia ने इतना लंबा मैसेज लिखा, but it was like such a sweet message. She wrote, hello दीदी, I'm very sorry to hear about मतलब जो आज कांड किया ये लोगों ने. So बोला, don't worry, we got your back and don't be hurt. We are here for you. Haters are everywhere. I'm sure the love you get would overcome this and would prove things wrong to the haters. We love you. I love you more than anyone else. Okay. How sweet is that, right? ये है तो फिर तुम जैसे बच्चे हो तो मेरे को तो वरी करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है. And thank you Aryan for being there today. for moderating there, here. Thank you, Manjeet, for helping. And see you all on Sunday. I will announce it. I'm still making the post. Hopefully, we'll continue with the podcast on Sunday. Okay? Tab tak apna dhyan rakho. Be kind to others, but be very kind to yourself. Okay? Bye. Love you all.